Now, I've done a video on a few other fragrances from the brand Christian Louboutin. Here we have one with the pineapple on top. This one is called Loubifunk. This fragrance has Turkish rose, blackcurrant, and patchouli. Pretty simple note breakdown as far as I'm concerned. Nevertheless, I'm going to tell you all about this fragrance in just a little while, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Loubifunk by Christian Louboutin, this one came out back in 2020. I'll talk to you about the notes, performance, longevity, comparisons to any other fragrances on the market, so on and so forth. But before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and please give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So here we are dealing with a predominantly rose-based fragrance. Of course, I also did a review of Loubimar, which is this sort of salty, oceanic, creamy type of a fragrance. Really smells delightful, great for the hotter weather. This one might be a little bit more versatile, especially if the patchouli is strong enough, if it has a dense enough presence in the composition. Nevertheless, I'm going to be talking to you about all of that stuff, but let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. Now, right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get that blackcurrant ingredient combined with the rose. Now, the rose here is very gentle, it's very sensual, it's not jammy, it's not spicy, it's not overbearing. And one thing to be said about blackcurrant or cassis is that sometimes it can come across smelling really musky. Now, in this fragrance, it's only a little musky, so you're not going to get like this overdose of astringent musk that typically happens in some fragrances, and I've actually discovered several from the brand Maison Francis Kurkdjian that have that effect, and the good news is that here it doesn't, and I think it quickly paves the path to the gentle quality of the rose, which in my opinion is really nice. I think that's what people are going to be buying this for. Now, here's the thing. I thought of rose, patchouli. Another fragrance came to mind right away, which is Noir de Noir by Tom Ford, part of the Private Blend line. That fragrance, the rose, is kind of on the jammy, thick, syrupy side of things. The patchouli almost smells like chocolate. It has the earthy tendencies, but at the same time, it has this sensual component to it. And of course, one is left to think to themselves, okay, is this going to be an ideal like Valentine's Day fragrance with the rose and the patchouli? I don't think it is. I think the rose in here is kind of ethereal. It's not an overdose of rose. You're not going to get like an Eau d'Ispahan by Christian Dior, which is like a really in-your-face rose. You're not going to get, Rose's Musk, I think it's called. There's so many rose-based fragrances from the brand Montal and Mancera as well. Roses and chocolate being another one. But this one, it's a very smooth, gentle rose that I think a lot of people would argue leans a little bit feminine. Of course, these are just recommendations, and some people like to look at these classifications from a traditional vantage point. But at the end of the day, just wear what you want, wear what you like, and what makes you happy. But I do think you're going to get this slightly musky, smooth, ethereal rose fragrance with an earthy patchouli that never borders on the side of chocolate, which is a bit of a bummer because that's the patchouli that I personally enjoy. But nevertheless, it is very elegant and it has this sort of professional, chic nature about it. And I think that in and of itself is going to appeal to a lot of people. Not my personal style. There are others from the brand that I really enjoyed and that I would probably wear in place of Loubifunk, but nevertheless, I do think it's a nice fragrance. It's just, are you the clientele for it? Try it for yourself if you can. I will leave all of the relevant information down below. Not a sponsored video, but I just want to make it easy for my subscribers to access any sort of online places where you can either purchase, sample, or just at the very least discover the fragrance in more detail. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, for me, all things considered, it is kind of unique with the caveat that I've smelled rose and patchouli in so many fragrances before. So for this to truly stand out, I think the brand should have done something exceptional, something where it really pushes the envelope, and I don't think that happened in Loubifunk, but nevertheless I think it is a very playful, elegant, likable fragrance, and it has an air of sophistication about it. I just don't think it does anything groundbreaking per se. Longevity is about 7 to 8 hours on skin. Projection is good for the first 45 minutes of application. It radiated within an arm's length. Elbow's length scent right around hour 5, skin scent right around hour 7. In terms of the versatility, I think a lot of people would argue that this one leans traditionally feminine. I think it's perfectly unisex. I think this one will probably appeal to somebody who's a little bit older. Great for the hotter weather, specifically the spring if you live in a hot climate. And I think this one is great for formal occasions, not just because of the smell, but because of the price tag of Christian Louboutin products as well. And also in terms of the presentation, beautiful presentation. As you can see, I do have a mini. It was enough for me to really give it a few wearings, understand the smell. But of course, if you opt for the bigger bottle, you're going to be paying a lot more. My final verdict on this fragrance is it's a nice rose. Rose, patchouli, you have a little bit of blackcurrant, not overly musky. The rose is ethereal. The patchouli is earthy. You don't have anything groundbreaking, but it is posh, professional. There's an elegant nature about it. Try it for yourself. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. I hope you took something of value from today's episode. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm as well. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. And we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.